cyberspace, the final frontier.
Cyberspace?
Who would be brave enough to go there and come back? The chase is on with Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. An all-new movie only on video cassette and DVD.
Scooby-Doo is a franchise that has a ton of straight-to-video movies. Ever since the 90s, it feels like a new film comes out on VHS or DVD or Blu-ray almost every 2 to 3 years. Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, Scooby-Doo and Alien Invaders, Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, Aloha Scooby-Doo, and Scooby-Doo WrestleMania Mystery are just a few to name. Wait, why is Scooby just looking at the air? Anyway, most of these movies are met with mixed results. Some are good, some are bad, some are okay, while others are forgettable. But one polarizing film is 2001's Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. I either hear people love this movie to death or hate it with a burning passion. I rarely ever hear people in between. As for me, I liked it when I was a kid, but since I don't own a physical copy, nor does it seem to be available on any of the streaming services I use, I can't say for sure. Hey, it's better than just copying some YouTuber reviewer's opinion word for word like it's the gospel. Get your own opinions. The gang visits State University. Yup, that's the name. What, would you rather go to a nice hotel or stocked supermarket? I don't see the problem here. There, they visit their friend Eric, who's making a video game based on their adventures. But then they get attacked by a creature known as the Phantom Virus, and Scooby and his friends get sucked into said game by a laser also invented by Eric. The gang must travel through each level by collecting boxes of Scooby snacks, while finding out a way to defeat the Phantom Virus and just who created him in the first place. But what we're talking about isn't the movie, but instead the tie-in PS1 title of the same name. Much like the film it's based on, the game also has some polarizing reception. Some hate it, while others see it as a hidden gem on the PS1's lineup. Unlike the movie, where my experience is so far exclusive to my childhood, I am able to play this game today as I own a physical copy. Little kid me liked this game, but let's see how I feel as a cynical adult. The story is an extremely simplified version of the movie's plot. There is no university, no Eric, no professor, and we don't find out who made the Phantom Virus either. There's only 2 cutscenes as well, an intro and an ending. The gang is getting a video game made about them. The story is pretty much as simple as this. The gang is getting a video game made about them. The Phantom Virus attacks, and Fred makes a plan. Alright gang, Scooby, Shaggy, you go into the game and risk your lives to corner this deadly entity we just met. Velma, you stand there and just keep looking pretty, while Daphne and I will go fuck in the mystery machine, find a trap to deal with this pesky Phantom Virus. And risk our lives for the pleasure of others we shall. You play as Scooby and Shaggy as you travel through 7 themed worlds, finding boxes of Scooby snacks just like the film, fighting bosses, and trying to corner the Phantom Virus. Can I just say, I love this warp room? I'm a sucker for digital worlds, and that rotating core in the center is all I really need. And that soundtrack is an absolute vibe, too. You don't get to choose which character you play as each level is assigned to either of the two. But that's okay, because they basically play the same. They can run, jump, double jump, ground pound, crawl, which is only really utilized once, and you can throw pies. Hold the square button to charge up your throw, but don't charge it for too long or they'll get tired. In every level, you collect Scooby snacks. If you collect them consecutively, a multiplier will show, adding more to your points. There's also pies to refill ammo, hamburgers for health, the Scooby symbol as a checkpoint, and medals for extra lives. Each world has a different theme, many of which seem to be references to the film. You've got a prehistoric world, feudal Japan, and you even get to go to the back rooms.
This office building is pretty creepy, and I'm picking up some strong surveillance signals. You'll have to be super careful while moving through these halls.
I don't like the sound of that.
Most of the enemies are easy to deal with. Most of the time, the fast ones are stuck on a repeating path and are treated as moving obstacles, while the ones that aren't restricted to a set path will chase you, but they are slow. Some are completely stationary, like these breakdancers that are cursed to keep dancing.
If they ever think about stopping their sick moves, then their heart will also cease. It's better to put them out of the misery.
Or just let them go, I don't know, this is pretty fun watching them just spin around. The game's alright, but the biggest problem is how Scooby and Shaggy control. They're both pretty slow, and it honestly just feels like all they'd really need to do is increase their speed by 1 or 2 values. I'm starting to think that maybe they were a little faster in an earlier version. Many of the bosses have attacks that you can barely dodge. Maybe they were originally faster, but they thought the game could be beaten too quickly, so they slowed them down to give the impression that the game is longer than what it actually is, but they didn't adjust the bosses to fit the slower speed. Or not. I don't know. Their jumps also feel inconsistent. Sometimes you have little to no momentum in the air, while other times you get sent flying over the platform you wanted to land on. It's frustrating because honestly I feel like all they had to do was fix the jumping and make you a bit faster, and that would make a big difference. It wouldn't make this game a masterpiece, but going from an okay game to an enjoyable one is still an improvement. The sledding level in the Arctic world can eat a dick though. I appreciate the variety, but it's so easy to fall off the edge, especially at the final stretch where you're supposed to go down this extremely narrow path. I've had to retry this section multiple times before getting it right. The bosses, for the most part, are pretty easy. Once you understand their patterns, it's just a matter of waiting for your chance to hit them. But some of these bosses have attacks that feel like you can just barely dodge, like this lion and the polar bear. Oh, by the way, look out for this cheap moment after you beat the lion.
Like, check this out. I'm Super Shag.
Yep, you can still get killed after beating the boss, as these gladiators throw one more set of spears after doing so. What a dick move. Most of the bosses are either references to the movie or are completely original, except for the city level boss, which is Charlie the Robot. He's the only pre-existing Scooby-Doo villain to make an appearance in this game. In the movie, there was a part where the Phantom Virus brings in past monsters to Gangface to chase them around. But Charlie is not one of them. He makes no appearance in the movie, which makes him being the only pre-existing villain to be in the game even weirder. Maybe the boss was supposed to reference an early appearance of the villain. Maybe he was supposed to be inside the film and they cut him out last minute. I don't know. But the real pain is the final boss, the Phantom Virus himself. Listen, if you want to beat this guy, then listen carefully. Do not get hit in the first 2 phases, not even once, which is easier said than done because the first phase has them split into 3, rotate around the stage as they try to charge you. These guys are way too fast, and even if it seems like you've dodged them successfully, you'll still get hit for whatever reason. Maybe his hitbox is bigger than his model? I don't know. The second phase is easy, he just brings down some avoidable lightning strikes, but the last phase is the reason why you cannot get hit until now. He grows twice his size and tries to poke you. But goddamn, this attack is almost impossible to avoid. He'll get right up to you and immediately strike, and because you're too slow, you almost always get hit. Scooby's gonna know what it feels like to get a prostate exam from a jumper cable. At least you'll have invincibility frames after getting damaged, so the next hit goes right through you. He'll try to poke you 5 times, but only 3 will land because he'll go for the next hit before your invincibility frames run out. But if you have at least 3 hits when you get to this phase, just pray to whatever god you believe in that he'll miss. Believe it or not, it is possible for this attack to miss, but it's completely random as to when or even how. But take that chance when it comes, because if you miss your pie throw when your chance comes, he'll repeat the phase and you are not surviving at the second time. Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase is a frustrating case because while it isn't a bad game, it feels like with some minor adjustments, it could at least be a good game. Just make Scooby and Shaggy a tiny bit faster, fix the jumping, and fix the sledding level, and that's all you really need to do. Honestly, just speeding up the 2 could fix some of the cheaper bosses, especially the Phantom Virus, and you wouldn't even have to change the bosses themselves. But I wouldn't say it's a bad game either. It just takes an hour to beat, so it doesn't overstay its welcome. If it was longer, then maybe some of the issues would be even more glaring. It's short and sweet. Not sweet enough to make up the difference, but not borderline sour. It's a short, okay game that has some good moments, but it could obviously be better.
Look, Raggy, yummy snacks. Oh boy. They look good to me too, pal.